Assalamualaikum, and for this topic, which is the regulatory framework of derivative trading, we will explain all about this topic. Okay, for this topic, the nature of the regulation of derivative trading arise from the special requirements necessary for the high-risk leverage transactions. From this topic too, it is all about regulatory framework that are running in Malaysian practices for futures and options. Alright, for the aim of the regulation, for the regulatory framework, there is three of the aim, which is first, to promote a professional conduct. Second, to provide fair and transparent markets. And third, to minimize the default risk. For the first point, I will explain a bit. Alright, it is about the high professional standards among the market intermediaries to ensure the efficient and fair markets, which is the intermediaries should pass the examination of the MFORR, which is a Malaysian Futures Option Regulative Representative that is conducted by SIDC, which is the Securities Industry Development Center. And in addition, the intermediaries are required to acquire skills by training the professional courses from time to time. Alright, for the second point, which is to provide fair and transparent markets. Alright, this second aim of regulation is to ensure that the markets in the derivatives trading are very fair and efficient, fair and transparent, which is the fairness means that the all market participants are fair and will not take advantage to another. For example, like one group will not take advantage to another group. So it means that all the market participants will have the loss and the profit from their own effort and their knowledge about the trading and the market. Alright, for the third point, which is to minimize the default risk. We know that the market have the systematic risk, which is the uncontrollable risk in the market for the market participants. Okay, for example, like if both contracting parties do the agreement and have the settlement in the maturity, and at the maturity, one of the both party is default. So it will make another party suffer the loss. So for this regulation, it aims that emerge of the clearing house that guarantee both contracting parties to oblige and perform their contracting and the agreement and the settlement of the both participants. Thank you.
Okay, so the structure of regulatory agency. The financial futures and auction industry is governed by the Futures Industry Act 1993. So primarily, the Security Commission administers the FIA. Certain power under FIA, however, have been reserved for the Minister of Finance, as called as MOF. They are responsible for day-to-day supervision of future market, approval of entry into the futures industry, prudential controls, and membership regulatory responsible are placed with the exchange and clearing house. So there are three agencies that regulate the futures industry in Malaysia. The first one is the Security Commission. The Security Commission through the enforcement of the FIA and its regulation. The second one is the Asian House, which is BMDB, Bursa Market Derivatives Berhad, through the enforcement of its business rules. And the third one is the Clearing House, through the enforcement of its business rules. Meanwhile, the power of Minister of Finance under FIA 1993 are: first, power to grant and revoke the approvals of exchange company and clearing house, and the second one is power to prescribe regulation under FIA. Okay, next we proceed to the Security Commission. Security Commission role is to ensure the integrity of the future industry, so to protect public interest and maintain investor confidence. So they are responsible for licensing future market participants, approving the business rule of exchange company and clearing house, approving the new derivative product, and the last one is enforcement and prosecution powers. For major trading offences under FIA, these offences are designed to deter undesirable or fraudulent practices, also discourage and prevent unfair use of advantage and price distortion. First is false trading. It falls under Section 79 of the FIA, where a person is not allowed to create a false trading. The second one is bucketing. Under Section 80, no one is permitted to execute him or herself out to having and execute an order for the purchase of valid contract without having affected a bona fide purchase or sale. The third one is manipulation and cornering. And Section 82, it prohibits the manipulating the price of future contract or underlying instrument and cornering the underlying market. The fourth one is devices to defraud. Section 83 prohibits to employ device, scheme to defraud and make any false statement of material fact. The fifth one is false or misleading statement. Section 84. No person is allowed to make false statement for the purpose of inducing the purchase of sales of future contract. And the last one is abuse of information that is prohibited under Section 85. Next is the significance of fidelity fine. First, the purpose of a fidelity fine. It is to provide clients with compensation in the event of dishonest or fraudulent misuse of money or other property by a broker which cause loss to the client. The second one is administration and uses, to prevent any other parties apart from the clients of the participant future contract from making any claim against the money contributed to the fine.
Oh, hello. So, there are 5 business rules of Bursa Malaysia Derivative Berhad. First one is to create a smooth functioning of the market, and second is to have a transparent and a fair trading. Third is to regulate the conduct of the exchange members. Fourth is to outline the term of contract traded on the exchange, and the last is to evaluate the uses of the trading facilities. For function of Bursa Malaysia Derivative Berhad, the first one is as a marketplace for the trading of derivative contract. Second is development of new derivative product. The third is ensure fair and orderly marketplace, determine and admit members, enforce and formulate new business rules, take direction from security commissions, and last, direct members' conduct.
All financial future and option contract traded in Malaysia are cleared by the Bursa Malaysia Derivative Clearing Berhad. The BMDC was established to pursuant to the government policy for the establishment of the common clearing house to clear trade and manage the risk for contract trade of BMDR. Firstly, I will explain about corporate profile. BMDC is the legal entity separate from the BMDB, which have contracted to act as the clearing house for contract traded on the exchange. The Act and regulation require the board in the section of 6C of the FIA, which is have comprised into 3, which is the first one is 2 representatives nominated by PMDB. The second one is 2 representatives nominated by clearing house. Clearing house also have member of the PMDB, and the last one is 1 director appointed by the Minister of Finance. Okay, for the classes of membership, BMDC recognize the 2 type of membership. The first one is the member of BMDC which clear traded and enter into contract for their own account. The second one, member which clear trade and enter into contract on behalf or the instruction instruction of the process. However, on the basis of the flow clearance, membership of the BMDC can be categorized as three members, which is the first one, clearing members. It is a future brokerage firm which is a member of the BMDC and BMDB, which can clear directly of contract on behalf of its client. The second one is non-clearing members. It is a future brokerage firm which is only a member of the BMDB but not BMDC, and hence only BMDC can clearance the contract of the client. And the last one is non-member. It is neither a member of BMDC or BMDB, with a local who can trade for their own account, but not obviously to clear their contract. Lastly, function of BMDC. The first one is registration of the contract. The second one is performing warranty, and the third one is margining of open possession, and lastly, arranging delivery and cash settlement. The function of BMDC basically relate to the record keeping and risk management, such as BMDC stand really to manage a systematic risk default by the contracting parties. This is justified by its margining system and countering parties rule of the open position.